Welcome, everyone. We're just giving everyone a chance to join the virtual room, and we'll get started in just a few seconds. All right, I have 1:01 Eastern on my clock, so we can go ahead and get started. Hello, welcome. My name is Karen McCrae. I am Senior Director of the Institute Program at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of the entire team, thank you for joining us for today's Institute Info session. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items. If you're not already muted and you are not speaking, please go ahead and mute yourself just so we can help prevent the background noise. We will have an opportunity at the end of the session for Q&A, so please don't be shy in utilizing the chat function as we are talking and questions arise. You will also have the ability to unmute yourself at the end of the session to go ahead and ask any pertinent questions at that point in time. The session is also being recorded. You will receive a wrap-up email tomorrow with a link to the recording as well as the slide deck if you have not already received that information. And last thing, just want everyone to be cognizant that this session is designed to provide an overview of the Institute program, and that we do have a range of familiarity with Institute on the call right now. So if you feel at the end of the session that your question or concern was not answered, was not addressed, please don't hesitate to reach out to us offline, and we'll go ahead and get that answered for you. And feel free also, as we're talking, to drop a line in the chat. Just let us know where you're joining us from today. And with that, we can go ahead and dive in. So Institute for Organization Management, or Institute, or IOM for short, it has many names, is, in a nutshell, a continuing education program for chambers of commerce, association, and nonprofit professionals. It has been in existence since 1921, so long-standing, and it has seen a variety of iterations across the years. Currently, present day, it takes place at 4 different locations across the country, all on college campuses. And it is designed to provide an overview, much like this session is designed for an overview of the Institute program. Institute itself is designed to provide an overview on all the different facets of running a nonprofit organization. So we always say, and Cece will get more into detail on the curriculum itself, but you might be in a class that's focused on something that is not relevant to you at this point in time in your current role, in your current position. However, we want to make sure that our Institute attendees receive information on all the different aspects of running a nonprofit organization, and it might be relevant to you at some point in the future. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on that is unique to Institute is the relationship building, the camaraderie, the opportunity to network and build your contacts from across the country. We hear from attendees and graduates that is something that they're often surprised by, is the strength of relationships, because you're only physically in person with each other for 5 days throughout the entire year, but people keep in touch in a variety of ways: Facebook groups, GroupMe, group chats, email, etc. So we do find that is a unique element of Institute. It's the strength of the relationships, both personal and professional. So should you come to Institute at some point in the future, which of course is the hope, we do hope that you find that as well. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my colleague Cece to talk a little bit more about our curriculum and faculty. So Cece, please take it away.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. As Karen mentioned, my name is Cece. I oversee curriculum, faculty, DEI, and social media on the team. So just to give an overview, the curriculum taught at Institute is based off of the bodies of knowledge of both CAE, so the Certified Association Executive on the association side, and CCE, the Certified Chamber Executive on the chamber side. In total, so upon completing the 4 sites, it is 96 hours of continuing education. It is, so IOM is a recognition. It's not a accredited certification, which means there's no exam that you sit for. Classes are, it's a variety of different topics. So anything from HR, management, leadership, non-dues revenue, legal, membership, marketing, government affairs. It's a broad topic. And we do really stress to attendees that not every topic will be relevant at perhaps the given time or the given place where you are in your career right now, but it might be in the future. And the purpose is to give an overview and enough depth to help you understand how each piece factors into running a nonprofit. There are 9 total classes per week, and that's broken into 2 types, core classes and electives. So of those 9 classes that attendees go through each week, the six of those are core classes, and those are 3 hours. And that is assigned, it's a set curriculum based on the year you are in the program. We do just make note that the years don't necessarily build on each other. So first years aren't necessarily more beginner classes and 4th years aren't necessarily more advanced. The classes are spread throughout different topics. So of the 6 of those classes of the 9 are core, 3 of those will be electives, and that's based on your choosing. So it really gives you the opportunity to personalize your learning based off of your needs and your interests. And electives are divided into 3 groups. So of those teaching the classes are faculty members. We have 130 in total, and they're subject matter experts in a variety of fields. So they come from industry practitioners, so those that are working in the day in and day out of the operation in chambers and associations. And then we have consultants, professors, and experts. So we'll have lawyers that teach the law classes and CPAs that teach the finance classes. Our institute faculty are they're really legends. Most of them come, or some of them come from over 20 years in the industry. And on average, we bring in 20% new faculty across the 4 sites in each calendar year. It's really important to us that we are staying relevant in the industry trends, bringing in those that are new, bringing in fresh ideas to make sure that we're relevant in an ever-changing landscape. The interview process for new faculty is led by staff, so myself and a curriculum committee leadership in a biannual interview process. And we are constantly improving that process. So the potential faculty members that come into Institute are a variety of people. So IOM graduates, people that have gone through the program, practitioners and consultants that have been recommended or that have heard of Institute. So we do really encourage, if there's somebody that's led a workshop in your organizations and you think that they would be a good fit, we always take recommendations as well. And one thing just to note, the peer-to-peer sharing of best practices is really one of the key components that we hear from attendees is one of the most important, is learning from each other in the classes. So that's everything. I will pass it off to my colleague, Nathan.
Let's talk money. Let's talk some money. So first off, a slight change to the actual registration process for our members. If you need to, we ask that you provide your membership number. If you don't know your membership number off the top of your head, no problem. Just email Allie Ehrlich at uschamber.com. She works over on our federation team, and she will be happy to provide that. If you do want to ask me to at iom at uschamber.com, I can also provide it to you. It's just we like to have multiple touch points with multiple people at the U.S. Chamber. But anyway, back to the actual subject, the money. So the U.S. Chamber member early enrollment rate is $13.95. After the early enrollment deadline, November 17th for winter this year, for the summer sites, that will come out next year. That will jump up $200 to $15.95, and then the non-member rate starting out is $18.45. After that early enrollment deadline of November 17th, jumps up to $2,095. But don't worry, we have some enrollment incentives that will help bring that cost down if you qualify for any of them. We have the Premier Investor discount. So if you're one of our members who is Advantage and above, so Advantage, Elite, CCC 100, C100 in that area, You can qualify for your first year of attending Institute, $570 off of your registration, or for your second through fourth years, you can qualify for $300 off. Again, if you need to check your membership level, if you're not entirely sure about that, you can reach out to either to Allie or myself, and we can check that for you. If you just reach out to IOM asking if what membership discounts do I qualify for, I'm more than happy to help provide that information for you, just to keep those costs low for everyone, as budgeting is tight for a lot of people. And then fast tracking. So if you plan to register for one of our winter sites and are also gearing up to do another site within the same calendar year, feel free. That will qualify for you a $300 discount on that second site and beyond. So let's say you want to attend all 4 sites within a year. That's really a go-getter idea, but you can get that second, third, and fourth site, each of them $300 off that registration price. And then finally, if your organization is blessed enough to send more than just one person at a time, if you're planning on sending 2, 3, 4 more, that second person and beyond will qualify for $300 off. And that is across every site. So if you send one person to Winter, one person to Southeast, that second person that's going to Southeast knocks that $300 off. I know I just threw a bunch of numbers at you, but it was all discounts, by the way. So that's good for everyone. And if you have any further questions on that, please feel free. And then the final enrollment deadline for our winter site is December 6th. So get in before that time, but especially if you want the early enrollment rate of either $13.95 or $18.95, that November 17th deadline is fast approaching, even though it is only September, but we skip October usually because it goes by so quickly. So that's it on fees and enrollment incentives. So I'll pass it over to Isabel for scholarships.
Thank you, Nathan. And to quote Nathan, let's continue to talk more about money. Institute is pleased to offer a variety of scholarships in addition to enrollment incentives. So there are 2 types of scholarships that you can apply for, and then a third that's available. The first scholarship is our National Scholarship, and any participant who is attending Institute for the very first time may be eligible for this scholarship. Each institute site will award 1 scholarship worth $500 to a first-year tuition. However, that applicant must be a member of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The second type of scholarship you can apply for is a Regents scholarship. This provides financial assistance to both first years and returning participants. These are awarded in varying amounts, usually according to site, to assist with tuition. Regents scholarships are made possible by donations from volunteers and attendees to institute-specific silent auctions. So everything that was given at our silent auctions this year will go to next year's Regents Scholarship Fund. So as I said, all attendees are eligible for this scholarship. The final type of scholarship we partner to provide is the State Partner Scholarship. Through this program, Institute partners with state nonprofit organizations to provide $500 scholarships to each participating state organization that partners with the U.S. to market the Institute program. Scholarship recipients are chosen under the discretion of the state organization, not Institute, and these are only available to first-year students. These scholarships, however, cannot be combined with any of the other scholarships that you might apply for. The scholarship application period for 2024 winter has closed, but the application for all of the 2024 summer sites will open early next year. So keep an eye on your inbox, Institute social media, and on our website for more information on that timeline. These applications require that you upload and submit a resume and 2 letters of recommendation, one from your direct supervisor and one from a colleague or member. Each application is evaluated with the same criteria and is awarded based on evaluation of financial need, industry involvement, community service, and professional background. All information must be submitted prior to the deadline, and scholarship applicants will be notified of whether or not they have received a scholarship or not prior to registration launching. You must apply the discount code that we'll provide when you apply in order to keep your scholarship. And that is all from me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Isabel and Cece and Nathan. So we're going to talk a little about individual sites and dates. So you can see on the PowerPoint here, our first site of 2024 is coming up, and that's our winter program, January 3rd through the 7th. And we always say there's no wrong way to institute. There's no right or wrong way to complete your institute journey. Nathan mentioned fast tracking earlier, and that is what we call somebody who goes to more than one site. The old, I don't want to say old way, although I just did, but previous, more common way that people would attend the program is to stick with the same site for each of the 4 years. So you go through every year with the same class members. We're seeing a trend more and more, especially having come out of the pandemic, that people are no longer choosing to use the full 4 years to complete the program, but rather they're doing what we call fast tracking. So going to multiple sites. We do recommend, if somebody chooses to do this, that they do a winter site and then summer, winter, summer to complete the program in 2 years. But going back to what I initially said, there's no wrong way to institute. So that is kind of more of a common trend that we are seeing. If you were interested in completing the program in a faster timeline, or certainly could stick with the same class, the same site. I should mention that just reiterating what Cece had said previously, the curriculum is the same at every site, no matter where you go to. The faculty can vary, but they are all teaching the same core curriculum and electives, all of the same course objectives. So that will not change. Each site does have its individual culture, its flair. There are certain elements and logistics that just make each site different from one another, but they are all fantastic, and we recommend any site that works for you, for your organization, for your budget, for your calendar, whatever way you want to do it. Again, there's no wrong way to institute. So we're going to hear from a couple of our volunteers, specifically in the executive leadership position on our individual boards of region, to talk about their site more specifically. All of our Board of Regent members they're all volunteers, and they're all graduates of the program. So who you're going to hear from now are actually incoming chairs of each individual site. So to kick us off, we have first Rudy Flores, IOM, and he is the executive director of the Lincoln Square Ravenswood Chamber of Commerce in Illinois. And he is actually the 2025 winter chair. So he's going to share a couple of facts about the winter site. So Rudy, take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rudy Flores.
I don't know how to listen.
Can you guys hear me?
I don't understand.
Sorry. Hello. So I'm Rudy Flores. I'm with Winter Institute, and I actually started off in the Midwest Institute in Madison. I'm in Chicago, is a little bit closer, and so I guess they didn't fast track, but kind of followed that same process of going to different sites. Winter could be a great site if you have a lot of programs happening at your organizations in the summer. That's kind of one of the reasons why I ended up staying with the winter site. It just fit my schedule better. With winter site, we do have a lot of fast trackers in comparison to some of the other sites, because some people will do one in the summer, one in the winter. One of the things to know about Winter Institute is that we're in Tucson, Arizona, so it might be a little bit more costly just because of being a smaller airport, a smaller city. Also right around New Year's, so you're traveling when everybody else is traveling during the holiday season. So budget-wise is something to think about. But one of the things I really enjoy about our winter site is that we do have representation from almost every single state in our country. So it's really fascinating to get to see what organizations, both associations and chambers, are doing in different states, rural, urban, suburban. And I felt like for me, that was one of the things I really enjoyed about our site. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I think Karen probably will give you our emails out or whatever. So if you have specific questions about Winter Institute, I'm happy to answer them.
Awesome. Thank you, Rudy. And then representing our Midwest site, we have Lisa Hermes, IOM CCE, President and CEO of the McKinney Chamber of Commerce in Texas.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Karen and team. And just excited to see so many people interested in Institute. I would fall into the category of the old Institute, as I graduated in 2009 and did it the traditional way of being at one site, which is no longer a site. That site is not operating at this point, and moved over to the Midwest site and found just a wonderful, great group of people and volunteers who are part of Midwest. If you've ever heard of Midwest Nice, and I'm from Texas, by the way, we're the friendly state. Midwesterners are very welcoming. In their community. So coming to Madison, Wisconsin is a great place. In addition to the welcoming atmosphere you'll have with our board of regents and our class advisors and the staff, there's also some really fun things to do in the community, as it is a college town and it's by a lake, and you're going to learn more about cheese curds and eating bacon at a bar at night, if you come to Midwest. But as Karen said, there's no wrong way to institute, and we have people who also fast track at our site, which is we are very happy to have them come. It is a I chose going in the summer, so as Rudy said, it worked better for him to do winter for his schedule. For me in our chamber, being coming to a summer site was much more conducive. So that's definitely something to consider as you're looking at which site you want to attend. And I think with that, I would welcome anyone who wants to join us at Midwest. We're going to have a really wonderful, productive time while we're on campus together. We've got a lot of great things planned from the Board of Regents. While the curriculum, as they said, and the faculty you're going to get the top-notch experience on that front at any site that you go to. We're very dedicated to helping enhance your experience, as all the boards are. But we've got some really great things planned for the next year, and so I hope you consider joining us at Midwest.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. And next up, our Southeast site, Allison Walden, ION CCE CFRE, Senior Vice President of Resource Development at the Tulsa Regional Chamber in Oklahoma.
Hi, thank you so much, Karen, and welcome everyone. Very similar to Lisa's site at Midwest, we at the Southeast Institute experience is all part of Athens, Georgia, which is a university campus very close to Atlanta. So we are absolutely a site in the middle of the southeastern region of the country, and we draw attendees typically from Oklahoma and Texas east. So we have representation among our attendees from Florida, Virginia, and Texas and Oklahoma, and anywhere in between. We have more than about 250 folks who attend Southeast Institute during the summer. Next year's dates, as you saw on the slide, are June 23rd through 27th. And I would absolutely echo Lisa's comments, is that the experience and the education that you'll receive at every Institute site is the same. Some other similar themes that will also be present in Athens is an authentic experience in your community. So we have a music festival that's happening right at the same time as Institute typically every year. There's a lot of downtown atmosphere and shopping and kind of celebration in a college town that you can experience. But you'll also can experience not only relationship and connectivity to our faculty, but peer-to-peer relationships. And so we find that a lot of people who attend Southeast choose to come back simply because they love connecting with the people not only in their own class, but in the other classes at Southeast as well. And then the Board of Regents are also a key piece of your experience. They're all chamber association and nonprofit professionals just like you, and they are absolutely there in a volunteer capacity to enhance your experience and want to get to know you as well. So you would have a great time if you attended Southeast Institute either next year or a future year. We would welcome you as a four-year attendee or a fast tracker, and really appreciate you being here today to learn more about the program.
Awesome. Thank you, Allison. And last but certainly not least, our Northeast site, we have Dan Lemire, IOM-CAE, Executive Director of the Society for Biomaterials at Association Headquarters, Inc. in New Jersey.
Thanks very much, Karen. And welcome to the Institute experience, folks. This is a great opportunity to network with folks in our industry, and not only from the chamber world, but also from the association world. The Northeast happens kind of midsummer, at the hottest point in the summer, so it means a lot of heat and also baseball. Baseball in Philadelphia is fantastic. The Villanova campus has been remodeled over the last several years. It's a beautiful campus aesthetically, and because it's been remodeled and remodeled right, all of the air conditioning now works. Everything is running very nicely. The dorms are newer. Things on the Villanova campus are beautiful. As I mentioned, it does tend to skew a little more toward the association crowd. I think because we're kind of smack in the middle of the summer, and that's when a lot of associations with a lot of academic members have kind of their downtime. Also because we're a little more proximate to DC than the other sites probably. But that notwithstanding, there's still a lot of chamber folks there too, and if you don't know, there's an enormous amount of overlap between the association skill set and the chamber skill set. I've learned so much from my chamber colleagues and my association colleagues. It's just a wonderful experience every year. I think, Karen, I think that's all I got. I think I covered it.
All right. Thank you, Dan. And thank you to all of our volunteers for joining us here to share a little bit about your individual site. And next on this slide is just a variety of resources we have for you. Again, if you have not previously received a copy of the slide deck, you will tomorrow. So please feel free at your leisure to click on the appropriate links. We do have webinars available on our resource center. We just had one yesterday. Just so many things, our blog, FAQs, we have a podcast, and then the bottom links are for our social media outlets. We are most active. The Institute community is most active on Facebook and Instagram. That is the easiest and quickest way to stay in the know on Institute happenings. And Cece, who you heard from previously, she manages all of our social media and does a fantastic job. So if you want a quick and easy way to be connected with Institute, highly recommend that you follow us on whichever platform you are comfortable doing so. We do have a monthly newsletter as well, which Isabel manages. So anyone wanting to get Institute emails on a monthly basis, it's a really good summary of blogs that we've posted. It'll have links to podcasts if that has taken place timing wise, in an appropriate way to include it in the newsletter. We have testimonials. We just have program information, lots of information on the Institute program in general. And I did mention the podcast. We'll give Nathan a shout out, as that is his brainchild. He manages and produces that program. This is IOM is what it's called. We do also have a monthly topic takeover. If you do already follow us on social media or have seen our blogs, you'll notice and the webinars that they're all themed around a specific monthly topic. So just lots of resources and information for you. Now I will open it up to questions. I don't see any questions in the chat just yet, but if you have thought of something throughout us talking, perfect. I see something. 2 questions. Are the electives the same every year, or do they change every year based on your year in Institute? That is a great question. So the electives are, for the most part, the same offering. I will say for the most part, because depending upon the site, we might not have all 8 or 9 electives per group at that individual site that year, depending upon the size. So if it is one of the smaller sites, there's usually 1 or 2 electives per group that are rotated in and out every year. But if it is a larger site, such as Southeast or Winter, then all 8 or 9 electives per group will be offered every year. The year that you are in the curriculum does not dictate which electives you can choose. So that is completely up to you and your level of interest and your experience. And that's one of the neat things about electives, is that you will be in the class with fellow first year, second year, third year, fourth year attendees. It's a whole mix of people. Great question. And then the second one is the 501c3 elective. Is that designed more for those that are interested in establishing one, or designed more for those that are already have it set up? That is a fantastic question, because that is something that we are actually working through. It used to be an elective. Now there's a core class and another elective. So Cece, I'm going to put you on the spot to give a little bit, or Allison even, feel free to jump in as our curriculum committee vice chair, a little bit more information on where we are with the foundations elective and core class, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to give a little context, so this class was previously, as Karen mentioned, an elective that was geared a little bit more towards those that already had a functioning or a running foundation, and it focused just on the financial element. In the last year, so we have we have a yearly meeting with our curriculum committee that oversees what's taught at Institute. So this was something, just due to industry trends and seeing that this is a very important topic right now, that many different organizations are setting up foundations or considering setting it up. We've added a class to the second year core that focuses on the overview. So would focus on those that don't have one, giving kind of just the 3,000 foot level. So the elective itself focuses slightly on what would be needed to set, or slightly on what would be needed to set up, but does focus a little bit more on the managing of it. I would say, and this is something that I don't think we've discussed today, but we do have an opportunity for industry consults. So you can meet with the faculty members kind of offline, or with the Board of Regents, so some of those that are in the industry, and kind of ask those one-on-one questions. So while the classes cater more towards, you know, the overall audience, there is still an opportunity to kind of present your one-on-one questions with some of those either members that are on the Board of Regents, so the volunteers, or those that are faculty members, just to get a little bit more information. And that being said, this class is still a very important topic right now that we are reevaluating where that is, and if that needs to shift focus on how we're approaching that.
Awesome. Thank you, Cece. Great question. And then there's also, thank you, Nathan, posted a link to the electives, so you can see all of the elective offerings. Any other questions for either the staff or members of our Board of Regents about a specific site, programmatic, logistical? Thank you. Dan, if you start out with the intent to follow the traditional same site 4-year program, can you bump up to a fast track after a year or two? Absolutely. You are not set in stone. Once you go to a site, you're welcome to stick with it. You're welcome to change depending upon schedule, life happens, whatever works for you. Again, there's no right or wrong way to institute. So no, you are, or should I say yes, you are absolutely able to switch sites after you've already started. Has anyone ever completed all 4 institutes in 1 year? Yes, we have had a handful of people do that. I will say staff doesn't necessarily recommend it, only because it's a lot. It is overwhelming. Not only is it's a lot of time to be away, of course, a lot of money budget wise, but even still, it's just a lot of information to take in because the sites are so close together in the summer. Of course, everyone learns at their own pace. So it's not for me to say that, you know, you can't absorb all the information because every person learns differently. We have had a handful. It is not the majority of people that do all 4, but we have had a handful of people do that over the years. And then talk about the connection between WACE and Institute. So great question. Before I go into that, I'm sorry, Nathan, did you want to add to that? I saw you had your hand up.
Specifically for Lauren or anyone that wants to do all 4 sites within the year, if you are thinking about doing that, reach out to me and I can go ahead and kind of give you an overview for your year, and so that you can tell or when to request discount codes and things like that, so that you get the most value out of doing, if you choose to do that. Again, not recommended, but if you want to do it, we're here to help.
Awesome. Thank you, Nathan. And then, yes, the connection between WACE and Institute. So for those that don't know, WACE is the Western Association of Chamber Execs, and they have a program that, in partnership with Institute, it's similar on a regional scale. I will say I do not work for WAECE or the Cal Chamber, so I don't want to give any misinformation. But I know it is a 3-year program called Academy. And we did used to have a partnership with Academy, in that those graduates could enter in the Institute journey in a different year. However, I will say starting in 2024, that partnership has been discontinued, in the sense that we don't offer the discount of coming in a different year. However, Institute and the U.S. Chamber still has a great relationship with Nick Ortiz and WAACE. And then those familiar with the program who know Dave Kilby, the former president, is an Institute faculty member. I'm happy to talk more offline, Jenna, with you about that, to give you some more information and background and context. So I can certainly follow up with you there if you would like. Perfect. Yep, I'll connect with you offline. Awesome. For travel planning purposes, do the classes run full days on the first and last day of each session? Great question. So on the first day of the program, which for the summer sites is on a Sunday, for winter, due to its proximity to the New Year's holiday, it actually starts on a Wednesday this year. So January 3rd is a Wednesday. So whatever the day one is, that is solely for registration. We do have a class which we call homeroom. It is not a curriculum-based class. It's more so an opportunity for you to get to know your classmates and your fellow, your volunteer, your class advisor, who's someone, we didn't go into the weeds, the details on all of the volunteers, but your class advisor is someone who helps lead you through the program, also an Institute graduate, and they communicate with you in the weeks leading up to the program, as well as on site. They're physically there with you, providing logistical information and just being a resource, a mentor to help you go through the entire week. So homeroom is really an opportunity for the class advisor to provide all sorts of information and for you to get to know your classmates and understand the logistics and the schedule for the week. And then we also have an opening kickoff session where the Board of Regents chair, so those of our volunteers who are on the call right now for 2024, will lead that session and just introduce you to all the different volunteer groups, talk a little bit about the overview of the program and what to expect the week on site, all of the opportunities. CC mentioned industry consultations. Isabel had mentioned scholarships and silent auction. So that gives you an opportunity to just learn even more once you are registered. And then some of the sites do have an opening reception. So that's all on day one. That is no actual course instruction, but there are a variety of activities starting on day one, and that registration opens at 2:30 local time. On the last day, which is either Thursday if it starts on Sunday, or in the case of winter, it's a Sunday because the program starts on Wednesday, classes end at 11:30 a.m. So you are expected to be in class through 11:30 a.m. local time. And then you are welcome to stay, explore the city, or get back home if you're able to get out, depending upon flight and logistics, what that entails for you. So long response to your simple question, classes end at 11:30 a.m. on the last day. Great. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you. Hearing none and seeing none in the chat, we'll let you get back to your day. Again, if there is anything else that comes up in the meantime, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on that last slide there. That's our email, our website, phone number, hashtag follow us, on social media. And we hope to see you on site. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks.